Hey there, it's Ziggy with another video for you this week. This week we're going to be talking about the mystical diagrams and admission badges from the Practicus Grade of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Wow, that was a lot. So just some background, I am currently undergoing a curriculum of self-initiation into the Golden Dawn. I am following the curriculum laid out by Lyam Thomas Christopher in the book Kabbalah, Magic, and the Great Work of Self-Transformation. Part of the curriculum work involves reproducing some of the diagrams and badges that are used in the tradition of the Golden Dawn. These are normally used in the initiation rituals, but without having an initiating team, and you don't really go through the rituals themselves. You kind of have to get this information otherwise. And working on them, making them yourself, making copies of them yourself, is a great way to sort of absorb that into your psyche. Just a little bit about me. My name is Frater Zygmunt. You can find me at fraterzygmunt.com or on the social medias at Frater Zygmunt. I'm a ceremonial magician, art magician, queer hermetic mystic, and a conceptual artist working in the medium of religion. I would love if you could share, like, and subscribe to this video. It really helps out a lot. Drop a comment if you got any thoughts about any of this. Love to hear from you. So let's go. So a bit about the sources that I used in creating this video. The first one is the Kabbalah, Magic, and the Great Work of Self-Transformation book by Lyam Thomas Christopher. This is a curriculum of self-initiation into the Golden Dawn. I've been working at it for about 4 years now. I am in the Practicus Grade. The diagrams that we're going to be going over today are diagrams that I have reproduced or I'm going to be reproducing. It's going to be work that I'm going to be doing in the future, and there will be videos about all of this. So this is a little bit preview of what's coming. The other book is The Golden Dawn itself, collected by Israel Regardie and revised by John Michael Greer. This is the 7th edition. The Kabbalah Magic book refers to the 6th edition because it was printed a while ago, but this is the new version of it that I'm using. It is a very useful resource for anything Golden Dawn. It's kind of the required text that you need. And all the diagrams that I'm going to be copying, reproducing, zhuzhing up come from this book. The last book that I'm going to be using is Creating Magical Tools by Chick Cicero and Sandra Tabitha Cicero. This book includes instructions on how to make lots of Golden Dawn tools, implements. Some of the directions are a little sketchy, I have to admit, but it's a great place to start, and it's got all kinds of extra information you're not going to find in the Golden Dawn book itself. So mystical diagrams are visual representations of greater truths that can't necessarily be communicated in words. They are shown to you in an initiation to sort of awaken the powers within you, to expand your awareness, to give you a better perspective of metaphysical truths. And they're often explained to you, and it's a very dramatic moment. And so the information, when it's given to you in an initiation ritual, it has like a really strong impact. But when you are doing self-initiation, you don't have that trained team of initiators to get you through it. So instead, you have to work with the diagrams, become intimate with them, really study them, really copy them, really make them your own. And so that is a big part of the curriculum. And it's a part I really enjoy as an art magician because mystical diagrams are art magic. And it's a very important part of art magic. So I've always loved a good diagram. They've always inspired me ever since I was a kid. I love diagrams about all kinds of things, mystical diagrams doubly so. So let's get going. So I'm not going to be talking about these diagrams in too much detail. Part of working with the system is learning it for yourself and figuring it out for yourself. And if you get all the spoilers, it's not going to have the same impact on you. And when you come up with your own understandings of these diagrams and these symbols, in the back of your mind, you're like, well, this magician said this about that, so I can't possibly be right. When you may be more right than you realize. So learn them for yourself. Don't worry what people on the internet say. Take a look at them, study them, absorb them. But the secrets are yours to discover. They're not there for someone to tell you. And I just want to reiterate that I am a student of the Golden Dawn. I am not an adept. I'm not an expert. I am learning this as I go along. It's been very meaningful to me. It's changed my life, but I don't have all the answers, and I hope never to have all the answers, honestly. Learning and always being a neophyte, always having that neophyte mentality is really important, and you should cultivate that. And with all of that said, let's get going. So the first diagram here is the 7 palaces attributed to the 10 Sephiroth. So the seven palaces refers to the seven palaces of Malkut. It has to do with the way the soul is arranged, from what I can understand. I don't fully understand it, but this is the version that's found in the Golden Dawn book. And here's my Zhuzhna version. I added some color based on the queen scale of the Tree of Life to the various names of the Sephirot, and a little drop shadow, give it a little pop, a little zhuzh. Great. I love it. It looks nice. Let's move on. The next diagram is the tetragrammaton on the tree. Here we see the 4 letters of the tetragrammaton placed on the Sephirot. You'll see there's only 9 Sephirot listed here, not 10. Maybe a little mystery there. And here's my version with the colors in there. It was a little weird trying to get colors for the spheres because it didn't really make sense as to what the bigger sphere should be, what color that should be. So I just stuck with the colors on the Sephirot and kept it pretty simple for the ones on the 3 on the outside, the Chokmah, Binah, and Malkut. So these are the sigils of the Olympic spirits. They are used in magical workings often. They relate to the planets. They often used alongside the 7 archangels. They come from a grimoire called Arbitel. Unfortunately, in the Golden Dawn book, that's listed as the Heptameron, and that is absolutely not true. So be careful about your sources, always. But for these, I really embellished them. I really added color. I really elevated the sigils. So let's take a look. All right, here we have the sigil of Fool, the Olympic spirit of Luna, and the sigil of Arathor, the Olympic spirit of Saturn. Purple and black are the Sephirotic colors for these planets, so I went ahead and made the sigils in those colors. So here's the sigil of Ophiel, the Olympic spirit of Mercury, and the sigil of Bethor, the Olympic spirit of Jupiter. Orange and blue. These are actually the 2 planets that in Practicus that I'm working with, and so I've been developing a really special relationship with these planets over the past year or so. Next, we have the sigil of Hagith, the Olympic spirit of Venus, and the sigil of Falech, I don't know, I feel like you should at the end of that maybe, the Olympic spirit of Mars. Green and red are these colors, Venus and Mars, very potent combo, very strong. I'm particularly aligned with Mars, one of my favorite planets. Venus as well, because they make a lot of art. So 2 important planets for me, for sure. Finally, we have the sigil of Och, the Olympic spirit of Soul. The sun is a very important planet. It is the basis of the Golden Dawn system. It's called the Golden Dawn after all. It aligns itself with the east, the place the sun rises. So here's the sun. I love working with the sun. It is a fantastic part of my life. If you want to look at any of these closer for longer, you can check them out on my website, fraterzygmunt.com. They're all up on there. Please take a look. Please take a visit, and I would appreciate that. So the next ones are the geomantic talismanic figures. These you can use in talismans. It's also another piece of art magic that you can apply. These are based on the symbols from geomancy, which is a form of divination that was very popular in the Renaissance and medieval times, originates from North Africa and the Middle East. It's pretty unknown these days. Astrology and tarot have kind of taken its place, but I kind of went nuts on this one. I'm ready to show you. So here we go. This is my poster of the geomantic figures. I added a lot of information to all of this. I think this is an 18 by 24 print in total. There's a little part at the bottom I cut off just to make this fit on the screen better. But here you can see all the geomantic figures, their names, the translations, ruling planet, ruling sign, inner and outer elements, the colors associated with them. This was a lot of fun to make. It took me a little while to kind of compile everything. This one is definitely on my website, so please go check that out. So here we move into diagrams that I have not yet made, but I will be making. So here we have Mercury on the Tree of Life. My plans are to color in the circles based on the queen scale of the Sephirot, which is what all the little different circles mean. The Hebrew letter is the first letter of that sphere. You'll even notice that there's a little dalet for da at the top, or near the top. So that'll be an interesting one to do. Probably won't take me too long, but I'll probably make a quick video about how I make this in Illustrator. So this one's the doozy. This one I'm kind of saving for last. It's probably the most complicated one. The Garden of Eden before the fall. There's a colored plate of this in the Golden Dawn book. There's a whole lot of symbolism going on in here. It is explained in the Practicus initiation ritual. I have not really read that. I don't want to spoil myself. I'm looking to just put it together on my own. I'm not usually used to making like figures like this, but I'm going to give it a shot. How hard could it be? Really? You know, I'll find some tutorials online. I'll try. One thing that does kind of bother me about this image is that the people have white skin, and the story of the Garden of Eden takes place in ancient Mesopotamia, or alternatively, the origin of humanity comes from Africa. So I feel like these people should have darker skin, so that's definitely something I'm going to address in my version. But I'm really excited to make this dragon at the bottom too. That looks super cool. So this one will be exciting. It'll probably take me a little while, but it's coming. Don't worry. So admission badges. What are admission badges, you might ask? Well, to quote Chick and Sandra Tabitha Cicero from Creating Magical Tools, they say, an admission badge is something that is given to a candidate at their initiation to ensure passage into the temple. It can be a solid geometric object, a diagram, or a layman of one of the officers. The candidate is usually unaware of the significance of a particular badge until its symbolism is described within the ritual by the Hierophant or another officer. So there you go. They're little physical tokens of your passage, your initiation. So I love making them. They're a lot of fun, just because I like making stuff. But it's really great to have like these physical things that you have collected as you move through the self-initiation journey. So I'm going to be making videos about how I make all of these, putting up some directions on how you can make your own. But let's get to it. The first one is the tetrahedron, also known as the solid triangle, the pyramid of flame. This one is not directed by the curriculum, but it's one that I'm going to make. It's actually not that hard. The Creating Magical Tools book, in that, the Ciceros say to make it out of wood, but I'm not a woodworker by any means. My plan is to make it out of cardstock. I made one for the solid Greek cubicle cross for the previous grade of the Orcus. And that was actually a lot of fun, paper crafting. Printed it out on cardstock and just cut it out and pasted it together, and it looks super cool. I'll make a video about all that later. I'm going to make a video of all of my admission badges. But this is the first one. This is the admission badge for the 31st Path of Shin in the 3=8 grade of Practicus. This is the path connecting Malkuth to Hod. If you know what that means, great. If you don't, keep studying. All right, here's the next one, the Solar Greek Cross of 13 squares. This is another one I'm going to be making out of cardstock, but it's going to be very colorful. Not this black on white stuff that we got going on here. The Cicero suggests you do orange on blue, or is it blue on orange? Something like that, blue and orange. Here we can see that we have, this is the admission badge for the 30th path of Resh in the 3=8 grade of Practicus. This is the path connecting Yesod to Hod. And if you know your tarot and your tarot correspondences, you will know that Resh corresponds with the sun. And here we have the sun at the center of this cross. And coming out of it, we have the 12 signs of the zodiac. And they are arranged by their element. And what this means, I'll let you figure out on your own. And finally, we have the Cup of the Stolistes. This is the admission badge granting access to the Water Temple of Hod. This is the final admission badge. This is the one you get when it's like, oh, you've done it. And it allows you to be a Stolistes in other rituals. This one is also has a lot more color to it, and it's going to end up becoming a layman, sort of like a circular disc, kind of a puck. I might try to find a wooden disc, a small wooden disc to paint onto. That would be really sweet. A little bit easier than trying to cut it out myself. And it'll look nicer than if I just made it out of cardstock. But hey, cardstock's fine. You can get plenty of good magic out of simple materials, easily accessible materials. And it's just for me. It's not for anyone else. I'm not going to be selling it to anyone. So I'm just going to make it to the best of my ability and be happy with the results. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe. My name is Frater Zygmunt, fraterzygmunt.com. All of these diagrams will be up on there. The ones that I've made, at least. I'm not going to publish the ones that aren't mine, but I'm definitely going to make better versions than what's in the books. I guess better is subjective. Something more me. Make it more personalized. That's my goal here. So Thank you so much for making it all the way here. Please leave a comment if there's any of these you'd really like to see me do, or you're excited to see me make. I'd really appreciate it. So have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you all next week.